Snow blanketed the kingdom the day Queen Seraphina died. It was the kind of snow that silenced even the birds, heavy and slow, as if the sky itself mourned her passing. Inside the castle, a young girl knelt beside her mother's still body, her small hands clutching a hand that would never again warm hers. Princess Elara was just 15. The queen had been her light, her melody in a world too often quiet. When she died, something inside Elara withered, something irreplaceable. Her father, the king, married again within months. He said the kingdom needed a queen, but Elara knew he simply couldn't bear to grieve. Lady Marina arrived in the heart of winter. With her came her daughter, Ireland, a year older than Elara, her copper hair gleaming like fire against the gray sky. Their beauty dazzled the court. Their presence chilled the halls. At first, Elara had hope. She had longed for a sister, someone to share her thoughts, her late-night dreams, her fears. But Marina's smile never reached her eyes, and Ireland's eyes always looked past her, as though Elara were a smudge on a mirror. Marina was not cruel in the ways that left bruises. She never raised her voice, never scolded Elara before others, but she wielded silence like a knife, carving Elara out of her own home. Her father changed. He began to forget Elara's voice, her stories, her laughter. Slowly, he became a guest in his daughter's life and a host in Marina's. Ireland, too, changed. In the beginning, she had smiled. She had sat beside Elara in the garden, listening to her speak of the queen, of memories of a warmer time. But Marina whispered to her daughter late at night, and those whispers hardened Ireland's heart like frost on flower petals. "Do not be fooled," Marina once told Ireland when she thought Elara had gone to sleep. "That girl is the past. You are the future." After that, Ireland stopped smiling at Elara. Elara retreated into the gardens her mother had loved. Even in winter, she tended to the sleeping roses and barren trees. It was there she felt her mother's memory strongest, as if the plants remembered her touch. She sang to them softly, melodies her mother had taught her. And sometimes, just sometimes, the wind seemed to carry the notes beyond the walls. One evening, Elara discovered a single blooming rose, red and defiant against the snow. She knelt, breath caught in her chest. She named it the winter rose, and from then on, she visited it every day. Ireland saw her there one day and laughed. "You speak to flowers now, princess. No wonder no one listens to you anymore." Elara turned away, but her hands trembled. That night, the rose was gone, cut at the root. She found it in her room the next morning, wilted. A note beside it, "Even beauty fades. So will you." Elara never cried where anyone could see. But that day, the garden bore witness to her tears. The king grew ill, slowly and then suddenly. Marina was always by his side, her eyes wet and voice soft. When he died, the kingdom wept. But Elara did not. She had already mourned him long ago. With the king gone, Marina became regent. Elara's rooms were moved to the old servants' quarters. Her gowns were replaced with plain dresses. Her name disappeared from official gatherings. She became a ghost in her own castle. She tried to speak to Ireland, once tried to find the sister she had once imagined. But Ireland's gaze was cold. "You had everything once. Now it's our turn." Elara nodded, not in agreement, but in understanding. Years passed. Elara grew quieter, not out of weakness, but wisdom. She listened. She watched. Marina ruled with grace and strategy. Arlen bloomed in the court like a star, but whispers spread through the palace like roots under snow. Servants spoke of strange visitors at night, of coin exchanged in silence, of alliances made in shadow. Elara, though ignored, was not blind. She found solace in the kitchen, helping the cooks. In the stables, where the horses still remembered her touch. In the hearts of those too low to matter, who still remembered the true queen's kindness through her daughter's presence. They began to call her the Silent Flower. One night, a servant slipped her a letter. They plan to crown Arlen before the year ends. You will be sent to a distant convent forever. Elara folded the note calmly. That night, she went to the garden again, the place where no one came. She knelt in the snow, placed her hand on the soil, and wept. She wept, not for herself, but for what love could not save. The day of Arlen's crowning, the castle was alive with celebration. Banners waved, trumpets sang. Elara stood in the shadows, watching her father's throne, now draped in crimson. When Arlen entered, crowned and radiant, the court bowed. But one voice rose above the silence. Elara of House Seraphina, the chancellor said suddenly, holding up a sealed letter. This was found in the late king's private chamber. His final command. Marina turned pale. The chancellor read, Should I pass before Elara comes of age, she shall rule. Her heart is truer than all the gold in this kingdom. Gasps. Whispers. Eyes turned. Marina stepped forward, her voice trembling. This is false, fabricated. But Arlen, for once, looked not at her mother but at Elara. She remembered then the girl who had once tried to braid her hair, who had sung in the garden, who had been stripped of everything and still stood. She stepped aside. I do not want a crown won through deceit, Arlen said. I only wanted to belong. And for the first time, Elara saw her not as a rival, but a sister. She reached for Arlen's hand. Then let us both belong. Queen Elara ruled not with power, but with presence. Her voice, once forgotten, became the song of the kingdom. Marina vanished into exile. Some say she went mad. Others say she wept, not for the throne, but for the family she destroyed. Arlen became Elara's closest advisor and friend. In the garden, 2 roses bloomed side by side, each winter, one crimson, one copper, and every year the snow melted just enough to reveal their beauty. For even in the coldest winters, love remembered how to bloom.